All right, I'm gonna try to make this a 9-10 minute video. I think I'm gonna title it "Are Latinos and Native Americans Israelites?" So I've traveled to. What I'm gonna say is yes and possibly no, or yes and a maybe, and I will explain why. I got a comment maybe yesterday or the day before about this, and I'm glad he commented. I really appreciate that. I enjoyed the comments. Most of them are positive because, Israelites are naturally positive, and this guy was also positive. So I'm making this video because I'm going to tell about an experience that I've had, two separate experiences that I've had in two South American countries, and I'm also going to talk about a little bit about the slave trade and different amounts of people, and also I'm going to talk about the actual visage or visual appearance of the so-called Indians and Native Americans. So first of all, when I was about 18, I went to Dominican Republic. When I went to Dominican Republic, I went with a cousin of mine. He's lighter skinned, and his stepfather picked us up. His stepfather was very light skinned with green eyes and a nose to here, like from cheek to cheek, super wide. All right. Now, when I got off the plane, everyone that worked in the airport was dark skinned black people. It felt like when you get to Atlanta and you get off the plane, everybody in there is black. Everybody in Atlanta is black. That's how it was. I was surprised. And when I got off the plane, everybody kept telling me, "Ay, que bienvenidos. Welcome home, brother. Welcome back, brother." Now to my lighter skinned cousin, and when his stepfather came to get us, they weren't behaving that way with either one of them. I had never been to this country before. They had lived here for years. My cousin had lived there since elementary school. His stepfather was born in Dominican. He's a Dominican. He was born in the Dominican Republic. The stepfather got upset because the Dominicans were offering to take my bags for free, offering to give me a taxi for free, and they offered my uncle the same thing, but they wanted him to pay for them to take their bags, to pay to get in the taxi. Now, my uncle was saying, "What the hell? I'm the Dominican, not him." Well, my cousin's stepfather, I'm sorry, not my uncle, was saying, "He's a Dominican, not me." Now, I got treated better at the airport than he did because they thought I was Dominican simply because I was black. Now, that's not the same experience that you're going to have dealing with New York Dominicans. New York Dominicans, most of them, a lot of them you run into, not most of them, a lot of them are light-skinned. They have this problem with blackness or being black or whatever. Now, they also say they're Indians, which they are. Dominicans are Indians, and I'm going to explain that as well. A lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them. Now, are Hispanics or Latinos and Native Americans Israelites? Oh, let me tell you something else. I went to another country that's actually in South America, and I'm going to explain. A lot of blacks in the United States don't understand because we've been miseducated by enemies, pretty much, by the Gentiles, and we have been given the visage of them as all things, and we don't understand that no matter how far you go to the farthest out island, like the Andaman Islands. You're gonna an island full of black folks. It's all black people. When they came to Hawaii, all black people. And when they went to Fiji, all black people. Australia, all black people. So America is exactly the same, all black people. Now, if you look up, I think the name is Lucy, the skeleton, the skull of Lucy in Brazil. They found a skull that's over 12,000 years old somewhere in Brazil, and it's of what they call a Negroid woman, a black woman. So that already tells you we've been here all along. So a lot of the times when we hear the term Indian and Native American, we're given the visage of Pocahontas. And I'm not trying to be racist. I'm going to use that for now because that's what we've been given. This is the Indian, Pocahontas and Cocowan. I'm going to use the Disney Channel because all the shit's make-believe. So let's continue to play the make-believe game. So my grandfather, a very dark-skinned black man from the United States, born in the United States anyway, suffered a lot of nonsense because of him being black or dark-skinned man. He told me that his grandmother was Indian or Native American. A lot of people down south, black people down south, say the same story, and people make fun of them and they think it's a joke and they think you're trying to be something that you're not. The reality is this. My grandfather did not describe his grandmother as Pocahontas. He described her as jet black, having long hair down to her waist. like any other black person that just had long hair. So what does that mean? That means this. Many of these so-called Native Americans that you're talking about, none of them look like Pocahontas. They look like I do. They look like you do. They look like any other black person. They simply didn't come over here on slave ships. They were already in what is now called the United States of America. Yes, I do believe there were people that look like the depiction of Pocahontas here as well. I absolutely do believe that. I don't think they're new, but many of the people that you're shown as Indian, the ones that they're giving casinos and scholarships to, who do they look like? Any other white person. They put on a mohawk. It's a white person with a mohawk. It's a white person with a bow and arrow. It's just another white person. Okay? So these Native Americans, remember, like my grandfather told me, he said his grandmother was Indian. He didn't say she looked like Pocahontas. He said she looked jet black like any other African woman, and she had long hair, which I'm sure was nappy, just like mine. Now, with the Latinos, once again, a lot of blacks in the United States, we've not been made aware. We think because we've been taught by these Gentiles that we are a minority. You've never been a minority. You have always been the majority in the United States, Central and South America. That's why they brought you here. If you look at any history on the plantation, it was 4 or 5 white people and what, 20, 30, over 100 blacks. Breeding every year, being forced into breeding. So that tells you, and at no point in time over the last 390 plus years have blacks had a decline in fertility or a decline in numbers. At no point in time. That's never happened. So what does that tell you? We have always been the majority. Now, what I'm going to tell you is this, and you can look it up. The word Latino is derived from the word Ladino, Ladino. Ladino was a term that was given to Moors that invaded Spain. Their children that were born in Spain were called Ladinos. They weren't called Hispanic or Spanish. They were Ladinos. That was the name that they were given. So now many of the current day Latinos think that they'll tell you, I'm not black, I'm this, I'm that, I'm Latin, I'm Spanish. You've been given the name Latino because you've been deemed black by the Spaniards. They don't know that. They've not been taught that. You understand? And like I said, the Dominicans say they're Indian. They are Indian. There are already black Indians on that island. The Arawaks were already there. Some of them look like Pocahontas, I'm sure. Many of them look like I look. So a lot of these people saying Indians, you have to, when you hear that term, get the face of Pocahontas out of your head. Because just like you don't see Pocahontas now, she wasn't there then. Who do you see walking in the United States? Negroes. They didn't kill that many Native Americans. They enslaved the blacks that were already here and told them, they changed their name from whatever it was to niggers, and they told you that the children of the Gentiles that the whites had with these blacks, now that look like Pocahontas, they told you this was an Indian. That's not an Indian, I'm sorry. Now, they are today. You know, I've had some other experiences. I'm not trying to be rude or, nasty to anyone, but I just want us as Israelites to understand when someone says an Indian, now some of these groups out here, they've got it all wrong. They've got, and I really don't mean to be rude, but they've got people that look like Pocahontas. I saw my bloodline all the way back to the first, and no one looked like Pocahontas. Everybody was black. I'm just telling you. Now, again, when it comes to the slave trade, there was an estimated, actually about 15 years ago, there was an estimated 40 million blacks in the United States. In Central and South America, in Latin America combined, there was over an estimated 120 million blacks. There are well over 3 times the amount of blacks in Latin America than there are in the U.S. So I'm not talking about people that look like Dorothy Dandridge. I'm not talking about people that look like Halle Berry. I'm not talking about Sofia Vergara. I'm not talking about Selena. I'm not talking about Jennifer Lopez. When I say in Latin America, you've got black people I'm talking about that look just like I look. When I go to Latin America, no one assumes I'm from the United States. They always assume I'm from Brazil, I'm from Colombia, I'm from Dominican. I don't have to say anything. There's nothing to be said. I just sit there. They immediately assume that I'm from South America. That's how many blacks there truly are, just in these continents, in North America and Latin America. So I want you all to understand you are by no means a minority. So I also want you to understand that we aren't the only ones that were taken in slave ships. You can get to South America a lot faster from Africa or from the west coast of Africa than you can to the United States. So I just want you to know, like they tell you, oh, it's 40 million blacks in the U.S. There's always been more. It's probably 150 million blacks in the U.S. So they're telling you it's over 120 million blacks in South America. It's probably well over 400 million blacks in South America. They always try to make your numbers appear to be small. So I'm saying all this to say, when people tell, and you've got some of these groups out here that have these people with the visage or appearance of Pocahontas, and they're saying they're Israelites. I'm not going to say they're not, because I don't know. I'm not the Most High, but I do not believe they are Israelites. And I really hope that they're not being misled, because once again, the Israelites I've seen have been Negroes. I understand there are light-skinned Negroes. I'm not denying that. Negroes did not get light-skinned because of raping or racial mixing. Negroes were already light-skinned before we ever knew anything about the European so-called New World. They're already light-skinned people, albinos. Black people have always been different colors. So that's not anything that's new. All that being said to say, it's a lot more of us than you really think. And now since the slave trade, we have been thrown all over the earth. So now we have multiplied in a way that mankind actually has never known before. So when you look at things about like documentaries about Europe, notice who you see. You don't see any white people. You see black people. You see Muslims. You see Hispanics. You don't see any white people, because they're not there anymore. There are a very few number of whites left, and they're dying by the day, in droves. Nothing like this has been seen by them before. So you might want to check that out as well. But all that being said to say, yes, there are absolutely jet black Latinos that know they're black, that are here. They're not going to tell you, oh, I'm not black. I just talked to the guy the other day. I asked him if he was a moreno. He said, no, yo soy negro. He said, this is moreno, this is negro. He was lighter than me. He made sure I understood that there was no confusion. So again, yes, I know you see all these Pocahontas looking people that are being told by someone that looks like me that they're Israelites. I'm not going to say they are. I don't think they are. They could be. I don't know. I'm not the Most High. But I think some of them are good people. I usually don't have a problem out of Latin people or Hispanics, to be honest. Usually, if I'm in South America, I'm treated much better there than in the U.S. Much better. So that's my 2 cents. I'm going to upload this video. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, I'm not here trying to hurt anyone or be rude to anyone. The Most High chooses people at his own choice. So if there's someone that looks like Pocahontas that is saying that the Most High has spoken with them, I'm not going to say that he didn't. The Most High does what he does. That's his business. But as far as I know, yes, there are definitely way more black Latinos than blacks from the United States. Way more. You don't even understand. And what's funny about that is the ones that I've met, most of the time, they take on a black American's culture. I don't know why, but they behave like black Americans. Almost all the people that I have met worldwide, no matter what race they are, behave as if they're black from the United States. I don't understand that. But anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to post some other things. I've had other visions and other experiences. I've just been MIA, but I think I'm going to start posting more often. So if you have any questions, let me know. Again, I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I'm just being honest here as far as what I know and also my thoughts and feelings. If you don't agree, you can put comments down. That's fine. Well, thanks. Have a good day.